Here is the question. You can pause the video here to set up the question on your drawing sheet. So we want to consider this question here, which is question C-3 of the 2018 Ordinary Level paper. So the question gives you the dimensions there to set up the elevation and plan. There's nothing complicated about that. The only thing there that may be a little bit of an issue is how you locate the center for the curve. So we're told that the curve there in elevation has a radius of 60 millimeters. So you take your compass, you put the point of your compass up here at the top point, and we swing an arc radius 60 from that point, and we do the same thing from the other point, radius 60, and that will give us this, where the two arcs intersect will give you the center point of the circle that you're looking for. Reverse the compass, then put the point of the compass there, and then we can draw the arc going from the 2 points, and that gives us the top portion of the handbag. So once we have the elevation drawn, again we project our lines down into plan. The plan, we're told, has a depth there of 25 millimeters, so we mark 25 millimeters and we draw the plan. Again, the top two corners, you will see those, so they'll give you a heavy line. These outside edges again give you the end of the plan, and then these corners here underneath that can't be seen will be represented by dashed lines for the hidden detail. Project up our plan at an angle of 45 degrees to get the end view, and then transfer the heights from the elevation onto the end view. The curve dipping here into the center of the handbag will give us this dotted line here, and then this corner will give us a heavy line there. So it's all straightforward enough there to get the elevation, plan and end view completed. Okay, so after completing the elevation, plan and end view, we now want to consider the surface development. And reading the question, it tells us that the curved surface at the top must also be included. So even though it is a handbag, this is not open here at the top. We have to put in the surface there. So we have to find out how many surfaces we have in total. So looking at the elevation, we have the front and the back is going to give us 2. We have the curve here is going to be 3. Then we have the side 4, this bottom portion here 5, 6, 7, 8. So we have 8 individual surfaces altogether, and we need to put them onto a surface development. So there you can see the completed surface development on our drawing sheet. Now, bearing in mind that this is A2 paper, right? We want to get the start of our surface development. So to do that, from the margin on the right hand side, measure across 180 millimeters and down 10, and that will give you this corner here, which is going to be the starting point of our development. Now it's important then when you're drawing the development that you keep it as high on the page as you can, because this will be quite long and you do not want to run out of room. Going back to the plan, we can see that the width of the plan is 25 millimeters, which is going to give us the width of our development. So from this corner here that we've just obtained, we measure over 25 millimeters, and then we draw 2 lines going down, which will give us the spine of the handbag. Now we want to work on this portion up here, which is going to be the area that forms the curved surface. The part of the handbag that is going into the dipped curve on the handbag. So we need to get these measurements here, and how do we do that? If you move over to the elevation, what you can see here, I have selected at random just 3 spacings on this drawing. So I looked at the distance there from 1 to 3, and I roughly divide that up into 3 parts. Now, to get the parts the same on the other side, I transfer 1 into position 5 and I transfer 2 into position 4. Now, as I said, all of these points are roughly selected. the measurements between them are not even, which means that when we mark these onto the development, each distance from 0 to 1 will have to be taken individually on the compass. So if you put your compass there on 0 and open it up to 1, you mark that distance there from 0 to 1, and that gives you your first segment. Then we go back and we take the distance from 1 to 2 on our compass, and we mark that from 1 to 2 on our development. And you do the same with all the other points. From 2 to 3, take that on your compass and mark it onto the development. 3 to 4, 4 to 5, and 5 to 6. And then that will give you the total length from 0 to 6, which forms the top portion of the curve. The next thing that we want to do is we want to get this surface here, which is going to be the side, this side here, the sloping side, the bottom, and then the sloping side and the side going back up to the curve. Now, if you go to your elevation, you have the true lengths of all of those in elevation. The distance from here to here is the true length of that side. The distance from there to there is the true length of that side. The distance from here to here is the true length of the bottom, and so on and so forth. So, going back to our surface development, if we take the distance there of the long side and we mark it from position 6 into here, that will give us the length of that surface. Then we take the distance from here to here and we mark that distance down there, and that will give us that sloping side there. Then we take the distance across the bottom and we mark that distance there, and then going back up the other side, we take the distance from there and back up, and you mark those two distances there, and that then will give us the end of the development. And that completes the spine of the development, where we have our curve, we have our side there that's sloping up to the curve, you have your short side, your bottom, again a short side, and the long side heading up to the curve. All of that then completes the central spine of the development. So once you have the spine drawn, you want to get now the front surface and the back surface, and these are just 2 repetitions of the elevation. So what you have in elevation here, we have to attach that onto the development on both sides. So it's the same measurements that we used to set up the question. We measure out 20 to get this line here. This line is angled back at 60 degrees, and this line is also angled back at 60 degrees. Then from this line we measure up 80, and then to get those points out there, 70 in total. So from the center line out 35 and out 35. Now again, to get the center of this curve here, again that curve is still going to be radius 60. So you put the point of your compass here and you swing an arc, point of your compass there and swing an arc, and that will give you the center then for this circle. And you do the same thing on the other side to get the center for the arc there. So once you have that done, then that completes the surface development. And as we said earlier on, we were expecting to get 8 surfaces. So the first surface there is the surface for the curve is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. That then completes the surface development for this particular question. So once you have the surface development done, that completes the question. Again, the usual niceties apply, where we will put in our title block, the question, which is question C-3 2018. Fill in your title block, label all the views, and make a good effort at presenting your drawing well. Okay, shown here is the marking scheme for that question. It gives a full breakdown of how the marks are awarded for each individual section. It is worth studying and having a look at. You can pause the video here to have a good look at the marking scheme. Okay, finally, here we have the completed question. Marks are awarded for neatness and presentation, so it is worth putting in the effort to present your drawing sheet as well as you can to get as many of these marks